Hello, today we're going to talk about intervention based on trust and relationships. This is based on the research of various professionals and my experience as an advocate for children and working with various child development and child protection professionals for the past 14 years. The voice of the child should be at the center of creating trust relationships when providing intervention to families. I have the privilege of working with professionals, including pediatrician, child psychologists, social workers, and social workers who use creative methods of intervention to ensure the voice of the child is at the center of service development. These professionals ensure that vulnerable children and families have a voice, and they enable the children and families to know that their views will impact on how the intervention is shaped. In a book by David Howe called Child Abuse and Neglect, published in 2005, the book looked at, among other things, of course, it looked at the concept of intervention, treatment, and support in the context of three scenarios. One, it looked at the parent, infant, and young child intervention. Secondly, it looked at the intervention with preschool and school-age children. And thirdly, intervention with adolescents, adults, and parents. While considering the first scenario, which is the parent, infant, and young child intervention, at page 223, the intervention based on trust and relationships is described as a variety of techniques to improve the parent's sensitivity and responsiveness. We're not going to look at all the various techniques in the book, but we're just going to touch on one. For example, a study by Spiker Ferguson and Brooks Gunn in 1993 employed a range of service to improve parent infants with at-risk low birth weight premature babies. Parents were provided with 1. Emotionally supportive home visit during which they were helped to improve their parent-infant interactional skills and knowledge. 2. An educational training program run at a family center. 3. A parent support group. When the babies had reached the age of 2.5, the quality of interaction between mother and child were found to be more synchronous than those in a control group of similar parents of prematurely born babies who did not receive the intervention. Let's look at the second scenario. While considering the intervention with preschool and school-age children at page 242, the author recommends developing a trusting, secure attachment with primary carers. And while looking at the third scenario, which is considering the intervention with adolescents, adults, and parents, the author of the book recommends at page 275 that planned help allows children of this age group to let down their defenses, trust the goodwill of carers, and feel safe exploring their affective makeup. Now, we're now going to look at the timing of intervention, how it's relevant to trust-based intervention. The timing of intervention is also paramount to making intervention based on trust relationship to achieve a maximum outcome. In a report by Graham Allen, a member of the British Parliament in 2011, him and his team investigated how intervention by professionals in children's earliest years can eliminate or reduce costly and damaging social problems. His team of researchers found that early intervention with vulnerable children and families is an approach which offers a real opportunity to make lasting improvement in the lives of children to forestall many persistent social problems and end their transmissions from one generation to the next, and to make long term savings in public spending. It covers a range of tried and tested policies for the first 3 years of children's lives to give them the essential social and emotional security they need for the rest of their lives. It also includes a range of well established policies for when they are older, which leaves children ready to face the challenges of each stage of childhood and of passage into adulthood, particularly or especially the challenge of becoming a good parent to their own children. The researchers also found that in order to achieve good early intervention, it requires it requires goodwill on the part of the various agencies and funding. The report states, in spite of its merits, which have achieved increasing recognition by national and local governments and the voluntary sectors, the provision of successful evidence based early intervention programs remains persistently patchy and dogged by institutional and financial obstacles. In consequence, there remains an overwhelming bias in favor of existing policy of late intervention at a time when social problems may be well entrenched. Even though these policies are known to be expensive and of limited success. Therefore, what is required is strong leadership to overcome these bias and achieve a cultural shift to early intervention. A move to successful early intervention requires new thinking about the relationship between the local providers and the service users. It also needs authoritative evidence about which form of early intervention are most successful and about their impact. The report examined the phenomenal growth of children's brains in the first year of life and show how this creates exceptional opportunities, especially for mothers, to provide children with the social and emotional foundation that are the key to personal development and achievements, and the best single way to tackle intergenerational dysfunction, thus enabling children and infants to become well-rounded, capable people, which results in great and lasting social benefits through a lifetime that includes happiness and security in childhood, achievement in education, readiness for productive work, and above all, successful parenthood. In conclusion, therefore, intervention based on trust and relationship involves creative thinking, and it should enable every baby, child, and young person to acquire the social and emotional foundations upon which a successful childhood development depends. A child who is rounded, capable, and sociable has a great chance in life. Those who deny these qualities have a bad start, and a few of them do recover. During their lifetimes, they can impose heavy penalties on themselves and generate major cost, financial and social, for their families, local communities, and even the economy. Early intervention is a means, early intervention that is based on trust relationship is a means to forestall bad outcomes for children and society. Again, I would like to thank you for listening to this talk. You're welcome to subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button. And by doing so, you will receive notification of other informative videos and talk from us dealing with various childhood development issues.